For the sake of this video, I'm gonna leave out the first 2 albums Yeat put out, that being Different Creature, Wake Up Call. The Yeat diehard fans probably know much more about that than I do because I didn't really check it out. It's not the Yeat sound that we all know of. Obviously, he was just starting out, coming up, doing his own thing, trying to find his niche. So to start out the Alive project, the first Alive project was the breakout for this new sound that he was embarking. In fact, this one and 4L and Up to Me all came around the same time, just a couple months apart. So they were like a trifecta. I would pretty much say that they were all his breakout albums. Obviously, Up to Me did do the most exposure and got him to that next level. Now, I wasn't around when Up to Me first dropped. I started discovering Yeat like a couple months later. It felt so easy for me to just go down that entire album without feeling any sort of fatigue, because I've never seen an artist just body, especially now in this current generation, this era. I've never seen an artist just body an album like that. Like, it was just hit after hit after hit after hit. It was damn near no skips. Not only for his breakout moments to be a 3 for 3, but it was an hour long each. So that's just all the credit to his work ethic. So moving on, at this point, Yeat is my top 2. You know what I'm saying? And it's the beginning of 2022, and this is when I'm on campus. You know, everywhere I go, I'm listening to Yeat. I'm getting ready to go on campus, I'm listening to Yeat. I'm driving to campus, I'm listening to Yeat. I'm doing homework, I'm studying, I'm listening to Yeat every chance I get. And there you have it. Not long after, but 2 Alive drops. And honestly, it's one of the only times I remember being on campus, being in college, because everything else in college was just a bus. Most of the time, it's just me and my music, bro. Like, the best way to describe it was that album was the soundtrack to my college days. Like, I've never had that much fun doing DoorDash. Like, at this point, I feel like Yeat has completed the mission. He has attained the status that he wanted, and it's just right before the transition until his next phase, and we're about to talk about that. We had Project Life that dropped in like that September, and then not long after that, you know, the next February, the LP Afterlife. Obviously, Afterlife being an extension, you know what I'm saying, something totally expected, something that was forthcoming. But the 2 though was very distinct. But just the Life EP alone, and I think some of y'all Yeaters out there can agree with me, is that it was way more simplified, way more digestible. And I feel like Yeat was holding it back on this EP as well. It sounded good, but I feel like he intentionally was holding back on his creativity, setting up for Afterlife that came later. Now, another fun fact, I think this was the first EP kind of held back on the bells that he would always use, that was very catchy and, you know, caught on with his fans. It was his thing for a little bit. Now, the thing with Afterlife, it just didn't stick with me, it didn't resonate. I guess at the time I wasn't sure where he was going. Some of the songs did feel lazy. It felt out of instinct, like he had to prepare something so it could just sound fresh and new, but didn't really take all his time on. Not a terrible album, it is the weaker out of everything else. You know, looking back on it, you know, you saw the craft that he was building. You know what I'm saying? Because if it wasn't for something like None I Change, you know what I'm saying, that song right there, he was getting his bag. He was getting other bags with that song. Without that song, we wouldn't have Breathe off of 2093 that he just dropped. So I see it for what it is, a transitional period. I appreciate it. Now, 2093 just dropped a couple months ago. Happy April, happy post-Easter. I heard it, took me a few listens, and now I love it. Now, I didn't think it would be that easy because honestly, it took me back to Afterlife. I'm like, where is this going? What is this? Don't scare me now. Don't tell me this is a Yeat fall off from here. No, we need to keep this going. But now I see everything and for what it is now. Long story short, this is the final Boss album. And talking about starting off hot, that intro song, Psycho CEO, is the best starter song that he ever put out on any album that he's ever put out. Like, period. Like, there's no debating in that. Like, he gets further into his story bag. You know what I'm saying? He's making sense, which doesn't make sense that he's making sense, but the dude is making sense. Like, it's unbelievable that he's able to carry himself lyrically on an album. Now, it's not crazy, but there's story, there's depth. It's a lot more thought going into the instrumental, the background stuff as well. I am slightly disappointed by the features though. Everything else completely overshadows that. But just, you know, just for my pettiness, I am a little disappointed because I did wish he thought about that a little more. You know what I'm saying? The list that we got of features on this album ain't much. And plus, how you gonna have an album like this where you got people listening to it expecting, anticipating something like a Travis Scott and Yeat collab? Like, this is what this album is made for. How you don't have that is what all I'm saying. But let's wrap this up, okay? 2093, great album, you know what I'm saying? Every time I think about it, I want to go to the gym, so that's a plus. The Life EP is also one of my favorites. I really rock with that. Never a bad time to listen to that album as well. But honestly, Too Alive takes the cake. It's just the time frame. I had just discovered yeat. I'm in college. A bunch of stuff was going on at that time, and I really needed something like that to just carry me through, you know what I'm saying? So like nostalgia is just undefeated. But Too Alive does take the cake for me until proven otherwise. We'll see what he has more for us in the future.